Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I'm joined by my friend, Tomek K, who is the organizer behind the Bitcoin Film Festival, which is the premier film festival that deals with independent Bitcoin films. Tomek, how are you today? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. Hello, Ricardo. Hi, all. I'm doing well. Thank you. Cheers from Poland to you all.
Nice. Tomek, I want to get started with first discovering, how did you first become involved with Bitcoin?
Oh, I think it was natural kind of to me because I am a libertarian activist here in Poland. So like 2000, I think 13, 14, I already heard that like this IT guys are using some computer money, and it's actually realization of Hayek dream of the nationalization of money. And it was also, and the Fed campaign was, maybe it was not in a full swing, but it was quite popular also in our circles over here. So it was like, yeah, this is Bitcoin. This is something that will end the Fed. I didn't understand it back then. There was not enough, also content, books to understand. So I dropped my interest for a few years. But after some time, I kind of, I guess, became a little bit disappointed with other things that most of the things that we were doing as a libertarian activist. We had our NGO and some libertarian association, and doing that, you do some demonstrations, you convince people to vote, you do some educational campaigns, you try various tactics to improve awareness of free market and capitalism in a society, but it doesn't work. Like, I got to realization that the results of educating society will come in 20, 30 years, and the chance of them to succeed is unknown. In the meantime, there could be some leader or virus or war, and like all of your efforts are gone. You cannot you cannot either bring libertarianism with one button. You can only count that some efforts of these associations and NGOs and activists and maybe entrepreneurs will result in something someday in the future. I didn't see much of success, and I don't see much of it in Poland. We are rather going, we as a society, we are rather going in other direction. Well, Argentina is a good example. They succeeded in that. But in this time, I started realizing that, hey, actually, we have the tool. We have this dream of Hayek, which, like, after these 10 years, since 2013, it's still like working, and it's working better. The price is higher, hash rate is higher, there is more people using it, more institutions, there is more content, more culture. So yeah, I became like a full Bitcoiner right before pandemic, I guess. And then when the pandemic hit, I guess most of us started thinking more, what actually is money? What should I do with my capital, with my savings if such events happen? So I started learning and networking, and I did not finish yet.
Wow, that's quite the journey, man. It sounds like you were way ahead of the curve there with being open to libertarian ideas, and it's kind of ironic to me that you say that you're a little bit jaded with like the whole process of being an activist, considering that right now libertarianism is probably getting the most attention it's had in decades, with Milei going to the World Economic Forum in Davos and giving that speech that he gave, where he basically promoted libertarian ideals in the face of their like kind of collectivist global strategy that they want to implement. So wow, that's interesting.
So maybe such thing as such person, such phenomena as Milei wouldn't happen if not for collective, but also not coordinated acts by us activists in Argentina, in Poland, in US, in Colombia. And then we can only hope that there will be such phenomena as Milei. And now we also can probably only hope, or maybe we can help somehow, that his ideas will come to fruition there, and that actually he will realize our hopes. He will not disappoint.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see what he's allowed to do, because I know he's just one person. So, if the leader has policies that want to help the populace, and then the rest of the government does not, it's a little hard for one person to change things. So we'll see how successful he can truly be. I want to change the subject again and get into the Bitcoin Film Fest. Like, how did you get started with the Bitcoin Film Fest?
I met. Okay, I'm running Bitcoin maximalist meetups over here in Warsaw, and doing small research on Twitter, putting Bitcoin Warsaw. I was trying to find, hey, maybe there are some Bitcoiners that are visiting Warsaw, or maybe some Bitcoiners that I don't know yet. And I encountered this guy, Pierre, who is apparently, I figured that, this guy made some YouTube documentary that has like 500,000 views, The Great Reset and the Rise of Bitcoin. And this guy was asking on Twitter, hey, I'm in Warsaw, any Bitcoiners want to meet? And it was accident, so I offered him, hey, bro, let's do a Bitcoin meetup, come over, we can maybe even screen your movie, right? So that's how I met Pierre Corbin. We didn't show his movie then, but we got this idea that, hey, maybe we should arrange something bigger. Like there is more movies, there is more films. Let's maybe try, maybe make a larger meetup where we can show 2 or 3 films. We drank a few beers, and the idea for Film Fest came to our heads, and we did it. We did 4 years later. We arranged the first Bitcoin Film Fest in Warsaw, March 2023. It was quite a success. As for the first edition, we had 8 films. Half of them were represented by its directors. We had a libertarian conference next door. There was 400 people at the conference, 150 at the film festival, and this event put us in the center of Bitcoin cinema industry. Not like this Bitcoin cinema didn't exist before. It did, and it's actually quite nice. There is plenty of nice people doing good projects, but there was no one in the center of it. And with a follow-up to the festival, we got some emails from people in LA that they do film workshops. Do we want to participate? People from Portugal that they are shooting a movie. Do we know some actors? So we just happened to become a networking and information hub for the Bitcoin film industry. So right now we are very well networked. We are keeping our hand on pulse what's happening in Bitcoin cinema, in Bitcoin films, promoting Bitcoin movies in various Bitcoin and not only Bitcoin conferences, and also organizing our annual Bitcoin Film Festival, which next will be in April in Warsaw.
I think that's something that you guys have really achieved, is like kind of being a center point, because previously, before the Bitcoin Film Festival, whenever there would be a Bitcoin film, like you'd hear about it on Twitter maybe, or one of your friends would mention it to you at a meetup or something, and you'd try to figure out how you could watch it. But the festival kind of brings all of these different film projects together and lets people know about them, and then shows them either previews or the film, the complete film. So I think it's really great what you guys are doing. A lot of people may not know this, but I co-directed a film with Elodie Gillet, who's also here at Bitfinex with me, and our film was at one of the Bitcoin film festivals, which took place in Lugano in November. Which, like, was that the second one or the 5th one, or like which one did we participate in?
No, so the Bitcoin Film Fest is the one in Warsaw. This is our Cannes festival of Bitcoin industry, where we screen full feature films, we give awards, and this is the place where industry meets, where directors can meet producers and future actors, and investors can meet films that are just in the idea phase. But beside that, we do something like Bitcoin Film Fest Mini. So it's kind of our roadshow where we do overview of what's happening in Bitcoin cinema during various conferences. So we were present at BTC Prague, at LibertyCon in Portugal, also in Plan B Lugano. So it was our 3rd appearance somewhere. Yes, and we screened Don't Trust the Verify. We did their screenings of Bitcoin and Friends, of Stranded, of some trailers. We had quite nice presentations, including yours, and a discussion panel with Adam Beck, Max Kaiser. So this is our way to promote the main event in Warsaw, and this is the Bitcoin Film Fest.
I do have one question. Like, to me, probably the most inspirational film that I saw was the one from Guatemala where they were using the open timestamps. I forget the title of it, but they were using the open timestamps in Bitcoin to verify the election results so that there couldn't be any fraud around the election. Which film did you find the most impactful, like so far, that you've screened?
Impactful? That's a good question, you know. I love them all, of course, like a festival director. Yeah, all of these films are great. The film you mentioned is called Immutable Democracy, and it's presenting how Bitcoin blockchain can be used not only as money, but it can be used to ensure the democratic process in such country as Guatemala. Hopefully this can become impactful. I know that the guys are working on implementing similar system in Salvador and in other South American countries. Well, you can say that, you know, it depends how you measure impact, because there are films about Bitcoin on Netflix. There are not Bitcoin maxi films, but they explain somehow, like Cryptopia by Thorsten Hoffman is not that bad. It's actually a good movie, and it explains how Bitcoin works quite well. Probably it's the most watched such film. Recently, they issued Netflix had this documentary on some crypto scams. I'm not sure if this is a good impact, because audience could blame Bitcoin on these scammers and on the cheats that were done by them. So maybe that's impactful, but maybe that's not good impact. Good question. I think we should, you know, you gave me idea that we should introduce an award, because we are giving awards at the film festival for the best film, best story, best non-documentary, and the audience choice. Now maybe we should also have the most impactful film. I will think about it. Thank you.
That would be an honor. If you do that, I would be forever honored. What kind of award are they winning? Do you give them like a little like Oscar kind of like trophy, or what is it that they win?
It's Golden Rabbit. It's a gold and white rabbit statue. Last year it was a statue of Satoshi, but we are consolidating our image, and White Rabbit is a persona of Bitcoin Film Fest. It's our brand persona. And there are some nice prizes from sponsors, and the audience is voting with sats. So every sat that goes directly to the movie to the filmmaker is being used for their future projects. So this is what they get, and lots of prestige, I guess.
And then in El Salvador, was there something like that as well?
In Salvador, yes, at Adopting Bitcoin in Salvador, we organized, and we do a similar concept now in Adopting Bitcoin Africa, in South Africa. We do Bitcoin Film Fest Mini with various short presentations from filmmakers that are present at the conference.
Okay. And then talk about the upcoming event that's going to be in Warsaw this year. I know besides the Bitcoin Film Festival, you're also planning something for the halving. It's happening right around the halving, as I understand it.
Thank you for this opportunity to promote our event. So whoever is listening to us, please check out bitcoinfilmfest.com, europeanhalvingparty.com, because we, next to the Bitcoin Film Fest, we do also the halving party. And there is also a story why we chose this date. We chose this date over a half year ago, and apparently it's going to happen around April 20. So our event is April 19 to 21st, with satellite events on 18th, 22nd, etc. European Halving Party is Bitcoin Film Fest, so screenings, panels, film workshops, excursions to film studios, but also party, of course. We will do a pub quiz, we will do a half marathon, we will do a bowling championship, there will be psychedelic workshops, Bitcoin workshops. So we call it, it's not a conference, it's a half festival, half conference, half party. Okay, maybe there is too many halves already. But yeah, that's we are still programming the event and figuring how to put so many ideas that we have, how to animate the event into realization. It's becoming clearer what's happening when. Hopefully soon we will present the ultimate agenda. But yes, our goal is to create the best time space for attendees to network with other Bitcoiners. It's not a regular conference where there is expo and one main stage, but there will be plenty various activities with a goal for people to have a nice zone area to meet other Bitcoiners and not Bitcoiners interested in culture and its impact on society.
Amazing. This year at the film festival, how many films will you guys be including?
We had this question after we finished first film festival in March. We were thinking, okay, it was a nice event. Should we repeat it? Do we do it an annual event or maybe biannual? No, let's do it every year. But is there enough movies? Last year we had 8, and we had movies from 2019, 20, 21. While if we want to be a proper film festival, we should show only films that were released between festivals. Is there enough of them? So we started digging, and we found 1, 2, 3, and quickly our count went that there is over 30 Bitcoin films in making. So some people are surprised, well, there is a Bitcoin film. There is not only one, there is over 30 released, and there is over 30 in making. And we expect for the Bitcoin Film Fest 2024, around 16 titles to be released, which my realistic expectation is we will end up on around 10, 11 of them. Yeah, there is a film we will have, Don't Trust, Verify. We will have Bitcoin and Friends, this cartoon series. We will have a world premiere of Dirty Coin, probably the most anticipated Bitcoin film right now. And there will be a screening of Bitcoiners by Rob Johnson, God Bless Bitcoin, Case for Bitcoin by Luke Broyles. There will be also films that are not necessarily flashing big orange bee in front of your eyes, because it's not only what Bitcoin films are, but there will be also films that are like documentary about Julian Assange, or Death Athletic documentary about printing 3D guns. Maybe we can screen Matrix at the cinema as well. Maybe it wouldn't be the official selection, right? But it would be a nice addition to the festival, because we realized, and people often are not only asking, but trying to answer that big question, what actually is a Bitcoin film, right? Is it just a film about Bitcoin? Is it just a documentary? Hey, what is Bitcoin? Yes, majority of them, they used to be just these documentaries, of course, but this industry, this genre of art is maturing. So there is more subtlety, there is more stories in that. So there is not only documentaries, but we are expecting now 4 fiction stories. Maxis Club is preparing her cartoon. There is one musical science fiction from Norway, where Bitcoin is not the main hero. There is not a film about Bitcoin, but there is Bitcoin somewhere, and it's a quite important part of the plot. So we call it Bitcoin film. But Bitcoin film doesn't have to include Bitcoin at all. Like I mentioned, some people say that Matrix is a Bitcoin film. There are some films which was created even before, like 10 years before white paper. Some people say that Bitcoin film is the film that resonates with values that Bitcoiners uphold, like independence, honesty, freedom. And I believe this is the case. Bitcoin Film Fest is also not just a festival of films about Bitcoin, but it's a festival of independent, rebellious cinema that most closely resonates with Bitcoin values and Bitcoin ethics.
I agree with you about that. Like, I believe that films that may not necessarily include Bitcoin directly, but that resonate with Bitcoin culture are definitely Bitcoin films. On a side note, the other night I was just watching the relaunch of Bitcoin and Friends cartoon.
Oh yeah, they released already 5 episodes. So this is a cartoon series in the style and kind of resembling Rick and Morty. with a story and like the lots of humor, lots of science fiction, and some vulgarisms. Very interesting, very tense, intense series. There is already 5 episodes. You can check them out on YouTube. They are released every second week, if I'm not mistaken. Bitcoin and Friends. So we premiered the first episode at Lugano, where we met, and the plan is to play the final episode in Warsaw at BFF 24.
So Warsaw is going to be in April, and then you mentioned a couple other events. You mentioned Cape Town and a couple others. Would you mind letting the viewers know like your schedule, where they can maybe catch some films at? What events?
Yes, next week we are not me in person, but one of our teammates, Kudzai, is arranging Bitcoin Film Fest Mini at Adopting Bitcoin in Africa. It's next weekend, and we are also doing on a very similar format that was in Lugano, a separate satellite event, separate from the conference, a Bitcoin Film Fest Mini at Bitcoin Atlantis in Madeira on March 4th. So it's a quite large conference on this Atlantic island. Lots of Bitcoiners are coming, and we are organizing Bitcoin Film Fest Mini with an overview what Bitcoin Cinema is about, and with an invite for our event that will happen 1.5 months later in Warsaw. And then after, our horizon, of course, doesn't finish it's on our horizon. The main thing on our horizon is the Film Fest in April, but our plans do not finish then. We are open, so if you guys want to arrange screening, if you want to arrange something about cinema, we are always happy to help. Most probably we can meet at Bitcoin Nashville from Bitcoin Magazine, and hopefully every year in Warsaw in April.
Perfect. Could you also be so kind as to give the social media links so that people can follow you guys on social media and keep tabs of your website for the latest developments?
Of course, the best if you just visit bitcoinfilmfest.com and you find links to our YouTube, Nostr, Twitter. You can sign up for our monthly newsletter, Bitcoin Cinema Digest, where we send out all of the necessary news, what happened in the last month in Bitcoin Cinema. Our Twitter is FilmFestBTC. Our Nostr is bitcoinfilmfest@getalbi.com.
And then, do you have a halving price prediction?
I'm gonna say $42,000.
42,000. All right.
Yes, it's around probably today's price. I will tell you why. Because when in June or May we were deciding on the date of the next film festival, we realized let's do it around halving. Let's do the halving party next to Bitcoin Film Fest. But when halving is gonna be, it's on a block 840,000, right? It's a halving number 4. 840 times 2 is 420. 2024. Let's do it on April 20. So if we know Bitcoin, magic and its superpowers, and halving is actually the day when the Bitcoin superpowers of limited supply are being confirmed, we believe that halving can happen around that day, and it looks like that halving will be around April 17, 23rd, 20, 22nd. If we do it, if the halving happens at the European Halving Party, drinks on me, we hit the jackpot.
All right. So we'll see if this Bitcoin numerology helps you make the block times work out the way they need to.
Or if you guys at Bitfinex, you can help with some manipulation of hash rate. We can maybe schedule a halving date.
I'll see what we can do, man. I'll see what we can do. Oh, Tomek, thank you so much for coming on the show and letting me ask you so many questions about the Bitcoin Film Fest. It was an honor to show our film at your film fest, and hopefully we can be there in Poland for the Halving Party and the Bitcoin Film Fest this year.
Thank you, Ricardo, for hosting me. I wish Bitfinex users will get interested that there are Bitcoin films, and there will be only better films. They're already good, and if you want to check more, yes, check our social media. Come to Warsaw. I promise a good, fun party.